Cool. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, and today we're going to be talking more about the horrible, horrible loss to the Chiefs yesterday. A lot of talk about Alex Forsyth. Todd has some plays that he's going to break down. We're going to play a little game at the end, and that's the plan, so we'll see you in a second. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast presented by Bet365, live from the Toyota Lounge. I'm Henry Chisholm. We got Super Bowl 50 champion Todd Davis, but we do not have Zac Stevens because he has a sore throat. I thought you'd like that. Yeah.
Something's wrong.
It turns out that if you just try to go to Kansas City and back in one day, you wind up a little bit sick.
Terrible place to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure that kick at the end didn't help with his sickness. Everybody was a little bit sick after that.
Yeah, everybody was sick.
But we wish Zac the best.
We do.
He's healthy.
We do. And today we're going to play a game that's going to make Zac roll over in his grave because he did some awesome work for us and cut up some videos from like the press conferences yesterday, some of that sort of stuff. And we're going to go into them blind. We're going to play a little bit of video roulette. Just play the clip, see what happens, and talk about it. Which Zac would hate, but you know we're gonna have some fun with it. Right. Also, we got the inside scoop today, which is gonna be a bunch of fun. First, though, I think we just got to go back through this game, and I want to start here. So, a video came out on Twitter this morning. Somebody went through and cut up. There were field goals and extra points that the Broncos had kicked in the 3 weeks leading up to this game. In, 6 of them, in the past 3 weeks, Alex Forsyth got knocked on his ass. And then there was the one earlier in the Chiefs game where he got knocked back the exact same way. And then finally at the end, he gets knocked backward again, and they block it.
Yeah, I've seen the technique before. Like, I know guys, you fall slowly. I mean, because it is a lot of weight. I mean, you got 2 guys, about 300 pounds each.
Yep.
600 pounds pressing you back. It's hard to kind of keep your ground. So I've seen guys kind of fall slowly so that they don't give up block kicks. It just wasn't slow enough. It wasn't sturdy enough. It wasn't strong enough. And he just got blown up to the point where it almost felt like they were kind of untouched.
Yeah.
Came through and blocked the kick.
Who used that technique?
I've just seen it on film,
you don't know anybody?
Yeah, I'm not saying anybody in particular, but I know watching film and preparing for games and, working with special teams coordinators as they dialed up our field goal block defense. You saw it happen to guys. And it doesn't always result in, a block kick like you see.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, you can't do that when it's crunch time and we need one. You got to stand there a little firmer. Usually they used to lock legs. So the guard and the tackle would lock legs so that you couldn't fall back. There's only so much push you could do with legs locked behind players.
So were there ever times that you guys talked about that and said hey, this guy just falls over? So did you feel like you could go after him? Or?
There was always one person that we picked to go after. And it may be because of his technique, he fell over, and maybe because he always put his head down, and maybe because he wasn't strong, but there was always a fish on the line that we tried to go after, and we just know that Forsyth was now the fish that the Chiefs decided to get after.
And Leo Chenal, after the game, the guy who blocked the kick, said exactly that we knew he said he's a little bit light on his toes.
Yep. See?
And so we knew we could go after him, and it worked out. And I think the other interesting part of that is that this morning Sean Payton was asked about that and basically said he hinted that they had known that there was something up with the left side of the line. I think he said we thought we had it fixed. We thought that we were good to go. But apparently that wasn't the case. So I don't know. It's definitely interesting to hear that can be a technique. Like you can intentionally.
No, I'm not saying like it's not like
you do it on purpose.
Wanted, like nobody's teaching you to do that, you know. But I've seen guys kind of get like blown up and fall slowly so that they don't give up a kick.
Yeah. Well, that's painful. It stinks that it's Alex who did it too, because Alex is a great guy. I think 4 games that he started in place of Luke Wattenberg, he played well. Like he looked like he could be a starting center in the NFL, but then this happens, and all of a sudden you go on Twitter and everywhere you look, somebody's asking for him to get cut.
Yeah.
Which just stinks, but I guess it's kind of the nature of playing in the NFL is that there are a lot of perks that come along with it, but there's also a lot of criticism when things don't go well.
I'm just glad that the people who are on Twitter do not hold weight in whether players cut or not.
Vance Joseph would have been gone for a year.
Some people would be gone if that was the case.
Yeah. I also, just while we're doing all this painful stuff, talking about the Chiefs game, I kind of wanted to go back to the Ravens game a little bit today because it's just kind of interesting. You go to Baltimore and you just get stomped. And I think one of the takeaways from that game was, okay, the Broncos, they're a solid football team. Like they're like 500 at worst, like they're middle of the pack, and that's a step in the right direction. But when you play a contender on the road, that's what happens. Yesterday, that isn't what happened though. Like yesterday, they played another contender on the road, and I don't know. I'm just not sure how to think about those 2 games back to back.
I think they're very different games against very different teams. I don't feel like the Chiefs are a juggernaut. Like, you know, they've beaten a couple teams that we've beaten, and you know, they were just finding a way to win close games. Like the Baltimore Ravens are a very good football team, and they're a powerhouse offensively, and that's the best team we have faced offensively. So I think that's why I look that way. I think the Chiefs' offense, even though they, you know, move the ball, it's very dink and dunk, and they run the ball. Whether they're getting 3 yards a pop, they're going to continue. They're not like a dominant offense. They win time of possession a lot, and they allow Patrick Mahomes to kind of control the game by controlling the clock.
Yeah.
They're not the Chiefs that they have been. So very different as far as like Baltimore's offense versus the Chiefs' offense. I think that's why it was a different game.
Yeah. I think, the throw to Courtland Sutton for the touchdown yesterday, if they had made that throw, which was to Troy Franklin the week before on the 4th down, you know, afterwards we're talking about it, you know, whatever it was 24-10 going to halftime. You make that throw, all of a sudden it's 7-7 at that point. You don't know how things play out. But in the back of your head, you know, you talk about those kind of missed opportunities in the first half, but you still saw what you saw and still felt like it was going to be a bit of a beatdown, even if they were able to hang with it at the beginning. But the more I think about yesterday's game, the more I think that really, if they did just make those couple of plays early against the Ravens, it really could have been different.
Yeah, I feel like every game, really in the National Football League, comes down to a couple of plays. You know, I think that play to Courtland before the half, that could have ended up being 3 more points. Maybe we're not in that position before the game. Refs don't call a couple calls that give what it feels like second chances to the Chiefs. I mean, there's so many times within the game where it's only like 5 or 10 plays every single game that really dictates the entire outcome of the game.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe my most optimistic thought about that game was just that, you know, they really should have beaten the Chiefs. Like they did everything. Exactly. Again, the headline is, did the Broncos deserve to beat them? It's like, well, no, because they didn't make the kick at the end. Yeah. If they made one more block, they would have deserved to, but the score is the score, and what happens, what happened. But the fact that you can do that at Arrowhead, I do think that there is something that you can take from that, because if you look at how the season's going to play out, odds are the Broncos are going to be the 7th seed. And, you know, there's a small chance they can pass, like the Steelers are 7-2. It doesn't seem like you're getting in front of them. The Chargers, maybe they could handle it. They could blow it too and miss the playoffs. But if you're the 7th seed, the Chiefs are going to be the 1 seed, it seems like. They're undefeated. That means in the first round, the Broncos would play, you know, the second best division winner. If you get past that, you go to Arrowhead. I mean, I wouldn't say I love the Broncos' chances to win that game, but all of a sudden, if that is the final piece to make it the AFC Championship, and I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, it is good to know that is a team that the Broncos really can play against.
They can definitely hold their own against the Chiefs, but I do think we need to see them again, and play them again. Just because this game was close doesn't mean the next one will be.
True.
So I think it's important to, see how this season goes. But if everything shakes out the way everybody hopes and we do get the Chiefs in Arrowhead at some point in the playoffs, I don't think it's anything that anybody should fear or anybody should be nervous of. Like, that's a very winnable game and a good situation for the Broncos. It's better than going to Baltimore. I know that.
Absolutely. Which actually might be the first round
game,
matchup.
yeah.
But we'll get to that in January if we get to that point.
They do.
Yeah, that is true. Baltimore in playoffs is a different team. The last thing I want to do before we get to this ad break is just talk about the how does this change the season? Like, losing that game, you're still there at 5-5. The Colts, the Bengals also, Colts and Bengals both lost. The two teams behind you in the wild card race. You still have your 1-game lead. Does that mean that it really just isn't that big of a deal?
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't think it's going to change the season that much. It would have been great to have, like, the win, but I think that, everything the Broncos want is still in front of them. Like, still can make the playoffs. They still can have a successful season. They still can go over 500. There's a road to 10 games, winning 10 games if they strap up their boots and make it happen. And then, this whole year was about Bo and his development, and I think he's developed, and he's been really, really good, consistent, taking care of the football, doesn't turn it over. Feels like a win no matter what, but ultimately you still want to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I guess that is the part that sometimes gets forgotten, because at this point, it just seems like the Broncos have made it so clear that they should be a playoff team. The AFC is not that good. Like, the teams chasing them are nothing special.
Yeah.
There really isn't any depth to the teams chasing them. It really is just the Colts and Bengals and nobody else. People forget that it doesn't take a great team to make the playoffs anymore. Like, the 7 teams from the AFC get in. If you're pretty average, the Broncos are sitting there at 500, you're going to have a good shot to make it. And it just feels like it would be so nice if they would have gotten that one, because they'd be sitting here at 6-4. Yeah. They'd have some wiggle room. All of a sudden, Sunday's game against the Falcons, it'd be a big game, but it wouldn't be you got to get this one, otherwise you're back below 500 and trying to bail water out of the boat again. So I don't know. That's just a tough one.
Yeah, I definitely wanted them to win. And
oh yeah,
6-4 sounds way better and feels way better than 5-5. But unfortunately, we're 500 right now, and for a team that has struggled for many years, being 500 is not the worst thing in the world. Plus, there's a path to the playoffs. We're all right. We're going to be all right.
Yep. We want to give a quick shout out to our partners before we head over to the Inside Scoop. First of all, UC Health. UC Health is awesome. They've got a push going on right now where they're trying to help men be healthier. That can mean a bunch of different things. The big one is just going to the doctor occasionally, which is not something that I have been great at. But it is something that can really go a long way in making people healthier. Every year, every couple years, just make sure you're getting in there. And again, as you age, more is always better. I was talking to my girlfriend last night. We're gonna try to stop the Uber Eats, eating out, slow that down, eat healthier foods.
Good job.
Because as smart people say, you can't outrun what you eat. You can't just work it off. Okay,
yeah, I agree.
Okay, you agree. Okay. UC Health is awesome. They do a bunch of things for us, including this push, which we really appreciate. So go check them out. And if you're a man, make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Also, women and children as well.
Yes, 100%. And shout out to our friends over at Premier Member Credit Union. They are a financial institution based right here in Colorado. With PMCU, you get local branches, friendly tellers, and the tools you need to save smarter, like the reverse tier money market. It's the account you need to get ahead and stay ahead in this economy. This is an organization that serves the community and the Colorado community in particular. Whatever your goals, they can help. PMCU is all about creating a better banking experience for their community. So why not see what they can do for you? Check out becomepremier.com to learn more.
All right. We are going to get into the Inside Scoop here in a second, which I'm excited about, and I'm Curious to see which plays you chose. How many are there, Todd? 10 plays.
10 piece.
Wow.
Some are like big plays and some are just plays that need to be seen.
Okay. I'm curious what they went with. So let's jump into the first one.
Let's do it. This is the inside scoop. We're going to start here with the sack from Zach Allen. Really big play. I think the Chiefs, this was their second drive, and they were doing a good job of, marching down the field. I think they're the number one team on third down right now in the league, so being able to stop them is very important. So they got 4 down, and what they're going to actually do is they're only going to rush 3. The 2 outside linebackers, and they have Zach Allen. They dropped off another outside linebacker, and they have Cody Barton. So they have 2 spies on Patrick Mahomes. That's because he, 39, he did it earlier on in the game. He'll find a way to make it first down, and you definitely don't want to have that happen. So great thing about this is they were able to rush 3 and get home. So Jonathan Cooper gets a lot of pressure on this tackle. He's able to pick the guard, which allows Zach Allen to wrap from his position here all the way around. Takes him some time. He's 300 plus, but he gets there.
That's true.
And then gets another stack and, makes a big play, gets Pat Mahomes down. I think this is what helped the Broncos be a dominant defense all day. Holding the Chiefs to 16 points, I think you're a dominant defense. I don't care what people say, but this was a big play early on in the game from Zach. And we talked about him in last week and not having the impact that he wanted, but this week I think he came with it.
How often did you guys use 2 spies?
Never. I don't know if we ever did that.
I know, because I'm curious how you'd even do that. Like, you just assign one guy the right side, one guy the left side?
Yeah, just stay on your side. If he comes to your side, take him down. If he doesn't, I don't know, stay backside. Because that way, he does all the scrambling where he'll spin, he'll go all the way to the left, he'll spin back and come all the way to the right. That way you're never pressed as the spire, to try and make a play on both sides of the field. It's smart.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
When you have 2 spies, can they cheat into coverage just a little bit more? Or do you
No.
you could still blow it. No, yeah.
Yeah, that's your job is to spy Mahomes.
That's
Whoever's
crazy.
covering, let them cover, and you get to Mahomes.
That's crazy.
All right, next play. I thought this play was interesting just because of, the personnel and how they've been using Marvin Mims a little bit. So now they have Marvin Mims in the backfield. They've been using him a little bit more as a running back this game, which was, the first time I had seen all season.
Yep.
But they had some good plays for him and some plays that worked really well. So they're able to get what is like a stretch with an OC, and that means the tackle and the center are pulling up, and they do a good job. Wattenberg and Mike McGlinchey of getting outside and creating space. Little Jordan Humphrey does a nice little cell block on this corner just to hold him there, and then allows McGlinchey to come up and take him out. But it's a good job, man. I mean, everybody's getting blocked up. Wattenberg's coming up for that corner, and they do a good job of holding this edge. And Marvin Mims is able to use his speed, and I think, we talked about why is Jaleel not in for these type of plays, but I think Marvin Mims adds a different spark with his speed. Not the shiftiest guy, but just his ability to get from 0 to 100 quickly. And, it's not a very big space here, but he's able to find space because McGlinchey's doing a great job blocking and sealing off Tranquil, the linebacker. Wattenberg's doing a great job on the corner. So ultimately, this goes for 13 yards, and I just thought it was great to see, Marvin Mims being used in a new way.
Yeah, I love it. Again, this is one of the perks to having Luke Wattenberg back. He's very athletic. He can go out there and make those plays. And that's something we were kind of worried about with Lloyd Cushenberry leaving, because this was one of his strengths as well.
Getting out in space.
As a center, to snap the ball and pull out in front of a guy as fast as Marvin Mims, that's tough to do. And the other fun thing about it is, so they gave, I think they gave Marvin 3 snaps at halfback against the Saints. But in all those, they still had a running back on the field.
Yes.
It was mostly Jaleel. This time, it's Lil Jordan Humphrey, it's Devon Vele, it's Courtland Sutton, and I think that's Troutman in at tight end. That might be Kroll. So there's no actual running back, which just puts the defense in the bind.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool if at some point you saw a tweak where you just motion Marvin out.
It's coming.
Go empty.
It's coming. It's going to be part of a package, and I think that's why you put him in the backfield, is because you have to make team's afraid that he's going to run the ball.
Yeah.
So you can't just get into a dime defense or something very light to protect the pass, because we'll just start running it if you think that's the case. And if you get into your heavy personnel, your base personnel, your nickel personnels, all right, now we're going to just spread everybody out. We're going to throw the football.
Yeah. And I think that at some point you've got to be able to run between the tackles just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. Just show that it's possible.
Not necessarily. Not if your tackles are pulling.
Okay.
If your tackles are pulling
create
out,
the numbers.
they're creating numbers, and then you're creating gaps that are, you're hitting the interior. You're not actually going to the outside, so it does change the gaps. If those guys can move and block in space, I don't think there's any reason to really have Marvin running in the A gap or the B gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
too many
probably the best.
linebackers in there.
I'm curious. I did a story with him after the first time he did that. He was he loved it. I'm so excited to get to go ask him about actually running the ball, because that's different than just being a receiver lining up in the backfield catching swing passes.
I don't know. It's similar.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not going to be downhill at any point.
That's true.
That wouldn't be smart.
That is true.
Next play we have is a touchdown to Vele. And I just like this play, and I like the play design. Ultimately because, you have rules and, understandings as a defense. And anytime you get 4 strong, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 4 guys to one side of the formation. They always tell you that something's coming back. And then as the front side linebacker, your thought process is, okay, I'm going to drop the first one coming back because I know I have the backside linebacker here to help. Well, the good thing about this play is on the snap, they take Jaleel and swing him this way. So Tranquil has to go because that's his coverage. But Bolton still, I guess he doesn't see it, doesn't understand. He still thinks, okay, I can drop one back. So instead of staying on Vele right here, he drops him back thinking that Tranquil's going to be there, and that's why Vele is so wide open on this play. And I thought it was a great play, but outside of that, I loved the concept. I mean, you got a bunch right here. You have the point going inside. The tight end is going to go vertical, and then Lil Jordan Humphreys is going to run the follow. So what this does is it creates levels. So let's just say Nick Bolton does stay inside and go with him. With the tight end going vertical, that makes it hard for whoever's guarding Little Jordan Humphreys right here to be able to follow him inside out. So if he's in there with Vele, then Little Jordan Humphreys is wide open. I think the play design, and I think actually the ball was meant to go to Little Jordan Humphreys because of the play design, but because Nick Bolton didn't know what he was doing or just messed up on this play, it allowed for Vele to get a touchdown. But I just love the play and how it was put together.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's also interesting, like, because Bolton in the second frame is just like staring at Jaleel. Like he's got to see that he's going over there, but he just doesn't. He doesn't take Vele anyway.
Yeah, because even when that guy doesn't stay front side, you're thinking, okay, he's going to block or he's doing something on that edge to where my player's not like completely vacated. My other linebacker's not completely vacating his zone. But they did a great job of knowing what they were in and putting the play together that really worked well.
Yep.
All right, so this is a play to Courtland. This was the shot, 3rd and 1. I thought it was a great play by the Broncos. They have everybody lined up on defense. Everybody's downhill. Everybody thinks it's a run, and it's completely one-on-one here. And what the Broncos did is they actually started the tight end and the big tight end. So, to make the Chiefs feel like it was going to be a run even more, they brought in another tackle, treated him as a tight end. He was reported eligible.
I think he went. Did he go in motion on that play too?
Yeah. So you got in theory 3 tight ends on this side. A big tight end goes in motion. So everybody and their mama is thinking that this is going to be a run. It's downhill. Estimates the running back. You make it. You sell it. You don't put Jaleel in there. No, but you sell it. It's downhill running. You guys better be prepared. So it's a great job of, and I think that's why everybody's a little bit late. Like, I think these players got to get off, but usually you're like, if it's a rundown, you're only getting off to stop the run. You're not trying to necessarily get into the backfield and put together your best pass rush move. So it allowed for Bo Nix to have more time, a clean pocket, and deliver a great ball to Courtland Sutton. Courtland does a great job of beating his guy, one-on-one, creating separation as he does. Great throw, great catch, and this is what we wanted to see from Troy Franklin. Similar spot in the field, but, him and Courtland Sutton are able to connect.
Yep, and in coverage, he was first-team All-Pro last year, Trent McDuffie.
Yep.
And Court just cooked him.
Yep.
That's a big play. The Court made his mistakes. He had the drops. Wasn't a perfect game. But the fact that he's able to go one-on-one with a guy like that and create that much space,
Yep.
It's worth keeping an eye on. And it was McDuffie in coverage on the 3rd and 6 at the end, too. So just keep in mind.
Trying to tell you guys, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Top
number
10.
1 corners. Imagine if he got to go against number 2 corners.
Trying to tell you guys, nobody wants to listen to me, but
Nobody
one day.
does.
This was a good play. You know, it didn't end up counting, but I wanted to put it on there just because, you know, the refs make some bad calls, but it is what it is. It's 3rd and 9. The Chiefs are driving. This was a great play by Nick Bonito. You know, when you become a good pass rusher and you're starting to make plays and get sacks, they're going to do different things to try and slow you down. And this time they have Travis Kelce chipping him. And a chip just means that he's going to hit him before he releases on his route to try and slow him down. But the great pass rushers, they understand how to use the chip and not try to run away from it. So he runs into Travis Kelce. And what happens is he sees that there's space on the interior. Well, if Travis is chipping me outside, I don't want to work back outside to get my sack. He just beats the tackle inside and lets the chip help him get to the quarterback. He does a great job of getting to Patrick Mahomes. He had a really good day. He could have had, you know, maybe 4 sacks today. And I thought he had a great day. This one ends up coming back for the illegal contact downfield, which I thought was trash, but I wanted to give Nick some credit. I mean, I think that's a veteran move. Use the chip. Don't run away from it. Utilize it.
Yeah, totally. And it's fun to see. So most of the day he's going up against Kingsley Suamataia or something like that, the BYU rookie.
Yes.
And
just flying by him.
Exactly. Which I think you could discount it and say like, well, he's doing it against a rookie, a guy who's not supposed to be out there. That's what good pass rushers do. Is all day they just beat that guy over and over and over, and you send the chip and you still beat him. Like it's Khalil Mack had one of those games against the Broncos. I can't remember. It might have been Michael Schofield, Ty Sembrano. We'll throw both names out there, split the blame. But that's what it feels like sometimes. Where it's just like a great pass rusher can just beat up on a guy like that, and Nick Bonito beat up on a guy like that. So who's to say if he's a great pass rusher yet? But there are more and more indications every single week that he can be a pretty dominant guy.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's going up against this guy.
True.
You know, this is 10 games in. Like, every single team they played have gone up against this guy, and I don't know any pass rusher that had a game like that against the guy. Yeah. So maybe he does stand out. Maybe he is different, and I think it's to be seen. All right, so, you know, you saw the Broncos do it, and then now we see the Chiefs do it. And so I thought it was cool to bring this up because a little bit different play, but same play at the same time. So you're going to motion this guy over, so you get 4 strong, just like the Broncos did. You get a bunch formation, you get the running back on this side, and you get 4 strong. Well, what they have, they're in man free. So what Cody wants to do is drop one back to PJ Locke on this side. So if you go right here, running back ends up stepping up. So there's no need to worry about him. The unfortunate thing is that they kind of run the similar play that the Broncos do. But you got the first guy going vertical, you got the tight end coming inside, and then you get Travis Kelce on the follow instead of little Jordan Humphreys on the follow. So because that happens, we got to do a better job in 2 areas because we got to press here with the running back coming back so PJ can take the running back, and then we can get closer on here because I actually think that this tight end is open too.
Yes.
So this tight end is open too, and you have inside help from the safety. But the problem is when they run this follow route, we got to do a great job of coming down and squeezing to this tight end because even though you have inside help, I mean, he's 5 yards deep in the end zone, so anything they catch is going to be a touchdown. And I think this is a play the Broncos have to clean up because in my eyes, there's 2 tight ends open in the end zone, not just one. And I think they have to do a better job, 1, of squeezing, and 2, of once this guy goes vertical and he goes to Riley, okay, we got to get down and press him. DB versus a tight end, I'm taking a DB every day on quick intermediate routes.
Definitely. Again, this was just such a strange play too because they picked up the illegal man downfield the play before.
Yes.
So the Broncos would have been able to choose between a 3rd and 7 and 4th and 2, or 3rd and goal from the 7, 4th and goal from the 2. You'd have to think they'd take the 3rd and 7 probably.
Yeah.
But that is, It would change the dynamics for sure.
It did, and I gotta be honest. I hate sticking up for the rest, but I watched the film on the men downfield, and so they're at the same point, right here on like the 2-yard line. And if you watch the guys block, they block till about here, and then as Patrick Mahomes started extending the play, they retreat.
Oh, is that allowed? So you can go downfield and come back upfield?
Well, I know that like illegal man downfield is there's 3 yards.
Yeah.
Of cushion.
Yeah.
So they started on the 2 and they never got in the end zone. So that means they weren't over 2 yards. And then on top of that, they started to backpedal. I think that's why they picked it up.
Okay.
I know it sucks, but
yeah. Now this is
happened.
Just ref defending podcast.
I know. I don't want to do that.
Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back because we got 4 more plays to get through. First, though, I got to tell you guys that yesterday, I at the time of the show was in a pretty tough place betting wise. The post game show, then the Nuggets and Lions came through, broke even for the weekend, which is I think coming into this I was profitable 5 of the 7 weekends. So typically what I do is I'll make like a deposit on Thursday for Thursday night football, and then cash out like Monday night after Monday night football. Or occasionally, if things go well, I just won't even bet on Monday. But then it's kind of go through cycles. So then all of a sudden, now I'm not just 5-3 like I thought. I'm 5-2-1 with the wash. Plus, if the Rams win tonight, I'll come out ahead. So Bet365 is an awesome partner of ours. So many different perks, over 10,000 boosts. There's a reason why I use them over anybody else. And again, like the SGP Sundays, you place parlay bets totaling $20 or more, you get up to $25 in bonus bets. Like they have that stuff going on every single day. Thursday night touchdowns, where again, parlay bets worth $20 or more, you get a bonus bet for every touchdown scored Thursday night. It's just all sorts of different offers. And they upgraded their entry offer, where new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5 or more. And they also get 2 months of Altitude Plus, which is the new direct-to-consumer streaming service of Altitude Sports. You get over 65 live Nuggets games, Avs games, a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. You can get that deal. $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. 2 months of Altitude Plus courtesy of Bet365. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hank, people are asking for your betting ticket, so I think one day you're going to have to show them on here and show them what Bet365 can do.
Okay.
And we got to give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota. Toyota is the official vehicle of the DNVR, and I'm looking for a Toyota. I'm going to go to one of the front range Toyota stores, and I want a Toyota. I think it's time for myself, be mature and get myself a nice car, a nice reliable car, whether it's the 4Runner or the Land Cruiser. I think it's time for me to get something that's perfect for the snow. And Toyota has over 17 models with available all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. You definitely want to have that. Winter's here, but winter lasts all the way up until March in Colorado, so it's never too late to get yourself something that's great in the snow, on the mountains, definitely keep you safe. So you got to check out your front range Toyota stores at a location near you: the Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, the Courtland Toyota in Boulder, the Groove Toyota in Littleton, the Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson's Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson's Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR.
All right, back in the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. 4 plays left.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
This one's heartbreaking. Like, this is what will happen if you can't, corral Patrick Mahomes. Like, this is how he beats you. This is 3rd and 13. The score right now is 14-10. You're about to punt the ball to you, but unfortunately, this play leads to 3 more points and eventually the loss for the Denver Broncos. So Nick Bonito does a great job, one-on-one with this tackle, and then just completely blows by him, beats him with speed. There's a nice little dip, and he gets to Patrick Mahomes. So you're like, man, it's about to be, 3rd and 25. It's a sack. You know what I'm saying? They're going to punt us the ball. We're going to be in good field position. But I don't know how Patrick Mahomes, does his little magic trick and is able to get out of this. And this is where he really hurts you. When you're supposed to have him down, when you're supposed to, have a great play for your defense, he ends up getting out of the tackle from Nick Bonito and then ends up scrambling to his right side and finds the one and only Samaje Perine, former Bronco. And this play ends up going for 34 yards, one of their biggest plays of the day, and it really did. It hurt as a Bronco, especially on defense when you have them backed up and you're about to get off the field and you have to find a way to make some more plays to hold them to a touchdown, hold them to a field goal, which they do. But this was a huge play from their offense, and this hurts when you're trying to corral Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, those just stink. And it's Samaje too, which again, happy for Samaje, great guy. But boy, does it sting to see like a guy that you let go to a division rival and then make a big play
and do what he was doing here.
Exactly.
That's exactly who Samaje Perine
exactly.
was for us.
Like that's what you decided you didn't need. Like you were happy Javonte, Jaleel, Audric, and they're fun backs. They're doing a solid job.
Yep.
But you decided you didn't need that, and you just gave that to them, and then it comes back to bite you.
Yeah. It definitely
just like when
did.
Josie made those couple hits. Worked out in the end though.
Yeah, he was having a good game. He was having a good game. All right, so this is something that I feel like our O-line and our pass protection can get better. This is one way. So they send a blitz, but I think we misdiagnose like who's rushing versus who's dropping. And what happens is we get these two rushers, the corner and the safety blitzing, and we have 1-on-1 here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on 2. We have more than enough bodies to, block this up. And what I don't like about it is as soon as the play happens, the left guard feels people vacating, but still decides to stay on the guy rushing the A-gap, the D tackle. Mm-hmm. And so instead of, coming back and trying to get one of these, maybe Bo makes one guy miss and is able to complete a play downfield, it just leaves us so voided on this left side. I think it's something we got to get cleaned up, because if we don't, they're going to continue to do this. And it gets 2 on one right here. Bo ends up making a smart play and throwing it away. Doesn't hurt us. But it hurts us in the same way because it is 3rd and 9. We do have to punt. We don't get another play after that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a sack, but it still was a good play for their defense.
Who's in charge of setting those protections? Like, is it the offensive line? Is it the quarterback?
Primarily the center, especially with a young quarterback. Bo may have some direction, but I think that, especially right now with everything that he's learning, I think it's primarily the center, and they got to be able to diagnose who's coming and who's going. Mm-hmm. And then also, a couple things like hard count would help, so you can ID protections. True. And then you can,
take a step.
See where you need to send, more blockers. So hopefully they get that figured out.
And I kind of thought that they had cleaned this issue up. It felt like the first couple weeks of the season, the Seahawks game in particular, I mean, that's what they do, is put you in situations like this. But it felt like in recent weeks, you hadn't seen so many just blown protections where there's, again, like, what is this? 3 guys rushing against 1 blocker and 5 guys blocking 2. Like, and I don't know if that's like a Luke Wattenberg coming back thing, because, again, like I thought when Forsyth was the center, we didn't see as much of this, but there's a lot of speculation and making assumptions there. So you can't say for sure it's just Wattenberg struggles.
Yeah, I don't think it's just Wattenberg. I think it's, the O-line as a whole, being a little bit better and understanding, how different teams want to blitz you. And that's one of the things that the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs is really good at. He usually is able to find free rushers. Like that's, one of the things he's known for. But I felt like there were multiple times in this game where there was free rushers. Some resulted in sacks. Some Bo was able to throw the ball away. But I did feel like there was free rushers a couple times this game.
Me too.
This one right here was the play to Courtland. Supposed to be one of the plays to win the game. We're marching down the field, 3rd and 6. We need a play from Bo. We need a play from Courtland. And, they definitely deliver right here. And doesn't lead to the win that we want, but it's a great route from Courtland. Courtland is 1-on-1 once again. Going again, that's good on good. And Bo does a great job of kind of like moving the pocket. He doesn't stay set right here. He moves the pocket. Estimate comes across. And Courtland does a great job. Great throw from Bo. Great separation created by Courtland. And, with Courtland, it's not like he needs 5 yards. To call that separation. He needs a step or 2. You put put the ball right on him, and he does a great job of coming down with it. And this was going to be the play that, helped us win the game. Great throw from Bo, 3rd and 6. Phenomenal. unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
It should have been, though.
Yeah.
That should have been the one that did it. Like, that's why Mahomes doesn't see the field again.
Yep.
Just got to make the kick. But this is a great play from Bo. I think it's easy to ignore that just because, I mean, it's like a 10-yard completion over the middle of the field. But he drops back, has like a little mini rollout, has to step up and climb the pocket, and it takes a really good throw. Like, especially in the beginning of the season, there were a bunch of throws where he was trying to hit a guy across the middle and he'd leave it behind him. And even last week, I mean, we had a lot of discussion about the interception at the beginning of the game where the ball just was a little too far out in front of little Jordan Humphrey.
Yep.
This one, though, he hits Court right in stride, and there's a big difference between right there and 9 inches this way, 9 inches that way. So that's maybe the best throw of the day from Bo. The deep ball to Court is great too, but there were 2 steps of separation there. That's just dropping in the bucket.
Yes, and I feel like this was the best throw for me because, yes, the one to Courtland was like perfect. The one in the end zone, it was perfect. But this one he didn't set his feet. And for the whole season, that's been his problem. Like when he doesn't set his feet, the throw is anywhere. And, for one of the first times of the season, I felt like he didn't set his feet, but threw a very accurate pass and hit Courtland right in the chest. And I think it was a great pass. And I loved it because his feet weren't set.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something we even talked about before the season, like before the draft, that Patrick Mahomes doesn't set his feet as often as he should.
Yeah.
He gets away with it, though, because he puts the throws on target. Every quarterback is going to miss more throws when their feet aren't set versus when they are. Some are just good enough at doing it that it doesn't matter. Like, you can live with it. Yeah. Because it brings a bunch of other good things with it. With Bo, we're just figuring out how much does it matter. And I think for the most part, we've seen you got to set your feet a little bit more because you're missing those throws. But there is evidence that he can make those throws. Again, when he gets outside of the pocket, slings them, kind of dropping the arm angle, it's great to have a guy who's capable of that. And he made this one, which is one of the biggest throws of his career.
For the time, at the time.
So far, yeah.
It was a good throw. All right, this is the play that everybody was talking about. We don't want to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. And this is where we get blown up right here. And you just see it's 2 defenders. And what they do is they go shoulder to shoulder, and they just try to both press one of their shoulders and all their weight into the middle of Forsyth's chest. Like, that's what you're taught when you're working on the double team as a rusher. And unfortunately, it feels like they kind of get through there with ease. It really feels like they had even 3 because he kind of dips into this gap instead of staying upfield into the C gap. And I mean, you were talking about looking for a new bed.
Yeah, I was.
He might have been testing out some beds because he is laid out right here. Like, this is not where you want to be if you're supposed to be blocking for protection. And it allows them to get through and make a big play here. But we just got to be sturdier. You got a little bit of lunging out of this tackle. So maybe him lunging, his leg wasn't as secure behind Forsyth as he needed it to be. Just all around, this was not a good play for the Denver Broncos. And it sucked that this was the play that we needed to win the game. And if you look at it, we purposely took the snap and ran to the left side of the the right hash to be able to kick where Will Lutz needed it. I think if we're in the middle of the field or from the right hash, it doesn't track this way. Yeah, it tracks more straight or over the right side of the line, and I think that it doesn't happen. That's true. You had to put the ball where your kicker wanted the ball to go. Unfortunately,
that is. I hadn't thought of that. I do have this answer now from Sean, but I hadn't thought of that part where, like, you really are kicking over the weak point of your line, which is something, again, like the Chiefs saw on tape, and Sean gave them a bunch of credit for seeing that on tape. But again, he was asked whether he had seen something in the left side of the offensive line, and it's a long answer, but we're constantly each week making corrections, not just with the field goal unit, with the offense, a certain protection, a certain coverage. When something like that happens, and it's not the first, like it could be a trick play, it could be whatever, it's pretty common for the team that had success with it to say, hey, we saw whatever. Credit them for that. They exploited an area that we obviously felt was fixed and stronger, but not fixed enough. Which is interesting. I wanted to say it's not Alex's fault. It's on us as coaches and all that sort of stuff. But that's interesting because they had also seen it. They thought they fixed it, and I wonder what they did that they thought fixed it. Because
I mean, I think this happens all the time in football, though. Like, even as a linebacker, if I have a bad day in man coverage, like, my team is going to go work on it, throughout the week and make sure I get better in my man coverage and, try to give me tools and tips. And it may not be until 3 weeks later where I'm asked at a very important time, like, hey, you got to cover this guy. It's easy to work on something. I think it's harder to put it into practice, especially when you get tired, you're fatigued. You're gonna go back to what you feel comfortable doing. 1 and 2, it's hard to correct stuff in season and be very good at it. Like when I had a bad game in man coverage, we corrected, and I would get better. I couldn't be the best within that season. Maybe that took me next year to get better, but I think it happens all the time in football. It just sucks that it happened like this.
It really does suck.
Yeah.
We got a little bit more to talk about, including, something that Zach would hate, but he's not here today. First, though, we got to give a shout out to a bunch of our friends, starting with us. We at DNVR throw some awesome parties that you guys should join, whether it's coming down to the bar for the watch parties. Yesterday was fun. A lot of Bronco fans, some from South Dakota was fun.
Dakota.
Dakota. Got to talk to them. People really enjoy meeting Todd, Jarrell, and Noshan. That's something I picked up. Even when Phil got here, like Phil was telling Noshan, like, I used to watch your highlights. And I was like, me too. I was watching Noshan highlights too. But it's a lot of fun for the watch parties. But then, of course, the tailgates. We'll be back at Sports Fan on Federal on Sunday, which is going to be a party. Are you guys doing the pregame show there? Do
you know it?
Oh, so there you go. If you want to meet those guys, they'll be there. But a whole bunch of awesome stuff at the tailgate. Primo Hoagies, Breck Brew, Breck Distillery, Yard Games, all that. You can follow us on social at DNVR_sports or go to thednvr.com/events to check out our calendar.
And shout out to our friends of our Coors Light. If you guys want to come to the tailgate, you need to be enjoying some Coors Light. And if you're not coming, but you just want to, choose chill and have a chill mindset, get yourself some Coors Light. Life, the game. I know a lot of people are stressed. They're in extreme pain, as we can see in the Toyota chat. Choose chill today. Get yourself some Coors Light.
Yes.
Take a deep breath. Make sure it's cold. And it's cold because the mountains will be blue. Enjoy that crisp Rockies beer and enjoy yourself, man. Take some time to chill. Take a deep breath. And, the Broncos are still in it. We'll find a way to get back in it. We're still the 7th seed, and it's going to be good for us. But you can make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Remember to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado.
All right. Back into the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. Before we move on to our game, I've got one more question about Alex Forsyth, and that is, a lot of people are saying that this is scripted. I would say it's absolutely not scripted because there's no way the NFL would script games. And again, it's on tape, it's good scouting and all that. But if the Chiefs, again, this did not happen. If the Chiefs reached out to Alex and said, we've got a bag for you, how much money would the Chiefs be willing to pay to block that field goal and get that win?
I don't even know that they thought they needed to do that. They thought they were going to win this game.
That is true. That is true.
And they're going to call Alex Forsyth?
Exactly. That's not a guy who seems like he's just
to Alex. I'm just saying, like,
I love Alex.
If you made a call, you would call somebody that had more power with how the game went the entire game.
But just say, like,
any other, like, maybe you call McGlinchey. McGlinchey misses 2 sacks during the game. Like, I don't think you make the call to Forsyth in that time.
No, but again, say Chiefs owner has a time machine.
Sure.
Just pause it right before that field goal. Is like, here's what we need. Goes back in time, reaches out to Alex and says, like, here's what's gonna happen. Like, that win's a big win. The Chiefs would be willing to pay what, like, say $10 million to have that to go to 9-0 versus 8-1.
8-1 doesn't change anything for them. They're still number one in the. They're still getting a bye week.
Wow.
You know, I don't think that changes enough to be like, hey, here's $10 million.
Really?
Maybe $100,000.
The end of the season game, I think they would. Again, like they don't even have a time machine, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But the chance to be undefeated, like all that sort of stuff, I can see it. I don't know. It's more of like a little thought exercise than anything.
100 racks at most.
The game is not scripted because as soon as the NFL starts saying like we're picking winners, again, they might get away with it for a decade if they decide they want to start doing that. But as soon as people find out that there's an actual push to shift the winners of games, people are going to lose interest. And it won't be everybody. It won't be like it totally dries up. But the NFL is a good thing going. And as soon as they start saying like, we need this team to win, that's when they could really start to hurt themselves.
They never have to say it. You just have to have refs call bad calls at inopportune times, and the team just goes on to win. And now they're 9-0. And
there could be individual refs. There could be individual refs who
easy. It'll be
like
so
is
easy.
in with a bookie or whatever.
It'll be
but
so
wouldn't
easy
be the
to rig
league
something.
itself pushing it.
If you're in the NFL, they'd be so easy to rig something.
It would be, but
it's not rigged. So.
it's not rigged. All right, we're gonna close things out. Like I said before, Zac sent us 4 videos from, I believe, all from yesterday, from the post game, from the locker room, all sorts of stuff. And he said, like, if you want to use them, make sure you watch them. And then he told Yaya, make sure that those guys watch before they actually watch them. And so I decided that we should just play them randomly.
Just a rebel.
Just see what happens, and we'll share our reactions. No, I mean we have a bit of an idea. There probably is press conferences, but Yaya, do you have the first video queued up?
Obviously a tough loss. Thought we played well, on the road. We accomplished a lot. We felt third down was going to be important. We won that battle. Felt like we outplayed them, but we didn't finish. And we had an opportunity to right at the end, kind of control the ball, and we got to be able to finish. That one will take a while. It'll sting. When you do this long enough, hopefully you're at the better half. Not the other way around. There's some tough losses like that, but told our team I was proud of how they fought. Thought we outplayed them, but nonetheless, you got to beat a champion, and we weren't able to do it. So obviously, gut wrenching. Any questions?
Did you get a?
I think they outplayed them too.
They really outplayed them for the majority of the game.
Yeah.
I know the Chiefs led in time of possession.
Yep.
For the game, but for a majority of the game, I thought that the Broncos outplayed the Chiefs, and they deserved to win that game with how they played, but they didn't.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Led for more than 36 minutes. Chiefs led for less than 6, but they led at the end, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Well, that was sad. Do you have another video for us, Yaya? Let's do it.
Everyone knows Sean. He's been around this league for a while, and he has a lot of wins. He also has some tough losses, and he said this is one of the toughest losses he played, but it's one of those games where you play to the tough team, and you just have to come back next week and keep winning.
That's what Sean, just one of the things he brings to the table. Like, he's been in the league for so long, and he's played in so many games, or coached in so many games, that when he talks to the guys about a tough loss and how to bounce back, I think they listen. I think Estime is listening to what Sean has to say about what happened and how to move forward from it. So I think the team's going to be more prepared for their next opponent than a team with a young quarterback who hadn't faced a loss like this before would have been. So I think, they've been responding. I think this was a response game from Baltimore.
It's true.
Going down, losing by 31, like you come back and you respond and almost beat the Chiefs, number 1 team in the league at the time. Like, they've been responding well all year. And I think this is just another opportunity to see how they respond and what they can be as a team.
Absolutely. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos go on a run here. Like, they played really good football yesterday.
That's what
like
you said after Baltimore. You don't remember? You said
Did
that.
I say that?
Yeah, you said that.
Ah, damn.
You're almost
that doesn't
right.
sound like me.
You're almost right.
Okay, I'll take almost right. I mean, after the Falcons, the Raiders, the Browns, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, then the Chiefs, like
Yeah, they got it going on.
You can win any one of those games, and why couldn't you win a bunch of them? So, what's up next here?
Game. There's nothing to build on. We know who we are as a team. We just got to win. My fault.
Everyone knows Sean. He's been around.
Oh,
this
back
league.
to Audric.
Yeah.
That was Nick Benito. I guess I didn't say the last one was Audric. This one, Nick Benito. Yeah, I mean, they have plenty to build on. Like, if you're going to meetings this week, it doesn't feel like there's a lot to clean up. Like, that defense played pretty well. Again, there's a couple mistakes here and there. There always will be. The offense, people will say they didn't do enough. Sometimes that's just how games play out, though. Is you play with a lead, and because of that, you're not trying to push the ball down the field. You're not trying to do crazy things. Like, the offense did what it needed to do. It just didn't get what it needed from the special teams. Again, no points in the second half. It stinks. At the same time, you led for almost that entire time. You only touched the ball once in the third quarter because the Chiefs were chewing up so much clock. Got a couple times in the fourth quarter, did what you needed to do to answer, and like they did a lot of things really well. The running game looked good. The passing game looked good. They didn't maximize their opportunities, but I think there is a lot to build on.
There is a lot. There's also a lot to clean up, though. I got to be honest. Like, 14 points isn't enough.
Okay.
I think there's ways that you can score more points. 16 points, although it's well below the league average, it's also not good enough because we lost.
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be something there that we can clean up. Allowing the Chiefs to hold the ball for that long in the third quarter, something there we could clean up, you know? I mean, you're always striving for perfection. So unless you beat somebody 45-0, you're probably going to have good tape to clean up. And for a team that feels like they're in it still and, the best is still ahead of them, it'll be easier to clean up. It won't feel like you're, beaten down on a dead horse.
Yeah, I agree. What's our final video here? Yeah.
Hey, way to play your ass off. Keep leading those dudes, right? This is the first one, man. We have a lot of these things.
It's the first of many.
It's true.
Yep. That can sound like a little thing because you'd say, of course, it's the first of many because Mahomes is like 29. Bo Nix is a rookie, but a lot of rookies don't get to play for more than a couple years because things don't go well.
Yeah.
Bo played really well. He's looked good for his entire rookie season. He looks like he's going to be the dude. And having Patrick Mahomes kind of co-sign that and say like, yeah, this is going to be me versus you for a long time here. It's got to feel good to hear.
Yeah, for sure. I think Patrick sees what everybody else sees, and you see a young quarterback that's playing well, protecting the football, and putting his team in positions to win games. So it will be a matchup that we'll have to see for a long time, and I'm excited to see it.
Would have been nice to get the first one
I know.
because you have those stats where it's like Lamar is 8-1 versus Joe Burrow or whatever it is. Would have been nice to start this off with 1-0.
Yeah,
It would have made. It's more fun when Broncos Twitter is annoying than when Chiefs Twitter is annoying. Because Broncos Twitter would be all about Patrick Mahomes has never beaten Bo Nix. Be like, oh, this is kind of getting old. It's a lot better than the opposite, though. We got a couple super chats here, though. Before we get out of here, what's our first one? From GGG. Do they need to cut Palcho to send a message? I would imagine he means Alex Forsyth. Would be my yes. The other Alex. No, absolutely not. And the big reason is that he just started 4 games for you at center, and those were among the 4 best games you've gotten from a center this season, among the 4 best games you've gotten from your offensive line this season. Again, Ravens game, not the best, and you got to play the Panthers and the Saints. I think Alex Forsyth is going to be a starting center in the NFL. Luke Wattenberg in his first couple reps with the Broncos 2 years ago looked awful. I think he came in for a series because somebody got hurt, got beat 3 times, and then we didn't see him the rest of the season. Now he's a starting center, and there's a lot to like about him. Can't have that. It's a mistake. I also don't think that a message needs to be sent. I don't think anybody in that locker room needs a message to be sent. Do you?
no, yeah. You can talk about it and you move on.
Yeah.
And you don't criminalize a player for making him one bad play either. Everybody makes one bad play. He just came at the wrong time. And, he's worked hard. He's, tried to be the best for you that he could. He came in place of Wattenberg and, you know, tried to play the best. Like, you don't just cut bait from somebody after one play. I hope that, you know, they're not that ruthless. Everybody makes mistakes, right?
Yep.
This one just cost them a game.
Another one here from Danny Maring says, Todd, how about them Bobcats?
I like Bobcats. I like all kind of, you know, cats.
We'll ignore
lions, tigers, Bobcats.
They make me sad every week.
It is what it is.
I had the Sacramento State plus 18.5, which was terrible. All HMAC says refs shouldn't be able to meet with teams for picks.
Like get pictures.
I haven't seen this actually confirmed, but there's a rumor going around that one of the refs took a picture with Taylor Swift before the game. Can't have that.
No.
I don't think that anybody's trying to screw with the games or anything. It's a terrible, terrible, terrible look, though.
Yeah, it's a really bad look. And yeah, it's a really bad look.
It's a really bad look, just like it was a really bad day yesterday. But hopefully you guys are feeling better, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully with Zach, depending on if his throat feels better. But we'll see. We'll see you guys all on Tuesday. Oh, Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day. I was going to close out with that. Happy Veterans Day.
We all silly like the mayor.